Welcome back to another episode of New Steeple.
Same people.
I'm Scott.
And my name is Jeff.
And we are here once again to talk about something that I think is very important to our church family. It's a little bit into the why behind some of the things that we do. We've talked about a lot of things this season, haven't we?
Yeah, and you know, it seems like every week I say, hey, this is something really unique about Johnson Street. And I guess we have a lot of, you know, fingers that, you know, extend from Johnson Street and different ministries that we're involved in. So, hey, it's pretty cool.
Just do one thing.
We're awesome.
I would say, yeah. And today, you know, we were just talking about this before we started rolling. It seems like every guest is special, with the exception of a few. Mm-hmm. I'll leave that there. But today we really do have a special guest because this is like, you know, a 1 in a million shot.
Yeah.
Right. We have somebody here who really does not necessarily want to be here, but she's going to do it. And I'm excited about that.
Usually behind the scenes, front and center right now. So,
so we're going to introduce to you Melanie Garnett. You are the director of Sunshine School, and I'm gonna kind of turn it over to you because I want you to introduce yourself. Let us know who you are. Tell us a little bit about your family and maybe kind of how long you've been at Johnson Street. You do go to our church, right?
I do go to church here.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm Melanie Garnett. I have been at Johnson Street for 12 years. I have been the director of Sunshine School for 7. I taught for 4. So I'm going into my 11th year here. I am married to Derek Garnett. We have 2 kids, Allison and Maddie. Allison is going into 9th grade at Central and cheers and does gymnastics. And Maddie is going back to college in Nacogdoches, where she's studying to be a history major. And
both your kids are awesome, by the way.
Oh. They really are.
They're really great kids.
Allison's the easy one. Maddie's like her mom, so with her dad's humor. So she keeps us on our toes, but she really is. She's focused and she knows what she's doing, and Allison does too. She has since she was born, so she makes parenting easy. And
yeah, Maddie's great. You know, I got to see a whole different side of Maddie whenever I was at one of the Angelo State University football games. And her mother were standing. Well, you were there, weren't you? No, you weren't there. She was there by herself. And I don't remember what happened, but something exciting happened. You know, I think we had an interception or something. Maddie was yelling louder than I've ever seen anybody yell before.
Oh yeah, if you
crazy,
just go to one of the Central games or something and just sit by Melanie and Maddie, and you're in for a show. It's fun.
You know, you're very soft spoken here today, but puts you in a football seat. It's a little different story.
I'm a different person when I'm watching football.
And
whether at home or in a stadium, it's a different show.
Are you more about NFL or college?
College.
Yeah. And what's your team? Do you have one? Oh, I may not want to say that. I don't want to divide. I don't want to turn anyone off who's listening right now.
Exactly.
Okay. You know, Derek and I have an interesting relationship because he was the very first person who actually, you know, came and heard me preach from Johnson Street before I even had a job here. And I didn't know he was the guy, but he was the secret shopper of that search team. And so we've had some good conversations about that over the years, and I hope it was a good one. Apparently, it was not bad because
it was. He didn't allow me to go with him, but I heard about it afterwards.
Yeah,
he was impressed.
Yeah,
you did a good job.
I like that guy though, and you have a good family because you guys are all very involved here, and you're not just casual attenders, but I would consider you investors, right?
I would think so. Yeah. I mean, part of the reason I'd had a time away from church, and after having kids, we were like, this is important to invest in our kids and our community. So, yeah, we came back and got involved.
Yeah, and both of y'all are knee deep in this culture and community, and it's just we're better because of you guys.
Yeah, and I mean, Derek's been like the father that I couldn't be to my oldest son. So I'm not like the outdoor type hunter guy, but Hayden was like, man, I want to, I'm in West Texas. I want to go hunting, and I don't even know how I don't know if it was you and Kara that were talking about or how it came up, but Derek took Hayden out hunting, and so he got to experience that. And so I was thankful that Derek did it and I didn't have to.
That's great. That is great. Okay, so you are a director of Sunshine School. How long has Sunshine School been going on? Tell us a little bit about what Sunshine School is for those people listening and watching who don't know, and how long has it been here?
Sunshine School started in the early 80s, and I know Debbie Freeman was part of the beginning of it, and there's a long list of people that have that are still members here that were part of it.
Which is about 40 years ago, by the way. Just saying.
We're not going to say that. And so we are a preschool program. We have ages 2 through PK4. We have Bible curriculum that we do. We teach ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, all of that stuff. Our goal is to get kids ready for kindergarten, not just to know the shapes and colors and letters, but more importantly, how to interact socially, how to follow instructions, how to be kind, how to be good kids, how to, function socially.
Right. And that's not easy.
That's correct. Some days are more challenging. Some kids are more challenging than others, but I feel like we're doing a pretty good job. I've talked to several kindergarten teachers that have had our kids, and they say, we can tell they went through there. They can sit in their seat and they can listen, but we like to have lots of fun too. It's not all about, it's following rules and listening while having fun. And I've got awesome teachers that love the kids and pour into the kids, so it's a good thing.
Yeah. And you said it's meets 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday?
The 3s and 4s meet Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 9:30 to 1:30, and the 2s are 2 days a week from Tuesday and Thursday, 9:30 to 1:30. Okay. So we don't have time for naps. There is no napping at Sunshine School. We go full force all the time.
What about for the kids?
Yeah, they're not allowed to nap either. Sometimes I suggest that, like when it's letter N day, I'm like, let's take a nap for letter N day. No, that's not happening.
Like yeah, there's a lot of, I'm sure, requirements to make sure that you are, doing everything up to code. But a lot of you guys are former teachers. You guys have been in academia for a long time, and this is more than just a Mother's Day out. I mean, this is more than just moms dropping their kids off to have a couple of hours of, kept time so they can do their chores. It's more than that.
Yes, it is. We try to follow SAISD curriculum as much as we can. We have curriculum set in place that we do letters, colors, numbers, nursery rhyme, and we try to find fun, exciting ways to do that with the kids and try to change it up every year because we still have the same letters and numbers and things in the same month, and some of those kids we've had since they were 2, so we don't want to do it the exact same way,
right?
But we also want them to have it. So our curriculum does follow SAISD, and then we have Bright Beginnings Bible curriculum that we do with that.
My wife was involved in our Sunshine School Mother's Day out there in Houston when we were there. She did that for a few years, and it really is kind of a neat experience to be able to see these brand new minds and these brand new people experiencing structure probably for the very first time.
Yes. We saw a lot of that after coming back from COVID. And I'm still seeing some delays and challenges that we had in that because there were kids that had no other than mom and dad or close family contact for a year. And we're seeing some speech delays and things like that. So it's just another challenge and a fun thing for us to work on.
Yeah. Well, one of the questions we like to ask here on this podcast is why? So can you give us some inside info on why you do what you do?
Yes. So I'm here purely on a fluke. I had Allison enrolled in Sunshine School. She'd gone through the 2s and the 3s, and she was going into the 4s, and her teacher that had been her 3-year-old teacher got West Nile virus. and they needed a substitute to fill in while she was recovering and before she came back. Well, she never came back. So I taught.
She passed away?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, she didn't pass away. She's still with us today. She's just not here. She.
Thanks for clearing that up. Like, wow, that's a horrible story.
No, she just didn't come back to Sunshine School. So I stepped in to teach the threes. I taught them for 3 years, and
a substitute job turned into 3 years.
Yeah.
and then I taught the fours for 1 year, and then Judy left. Judy Clemmer left as our director, and I took over. And I love the kids. That's why I do it. I love the interaction I get to have with my parents. It's kind of like a family, I guess I could say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I am lucky enough to have had several siblings come through. We have one of our 4-year-olds, well, and his little brother is 2, but I had his 2 older sisters who are one's going into 6th grade and one's going into 3rd grade. So, our families keep coming back. The ones that aren't necessarily in church here, but they know us and they love us and they know we're a good, safe place. And their kids are going to get what they need.
Mm-hmm. What would you say are like the percentage of kids that you have here that are from our congregation from Johnson Street compared to those, just from the community?
This year, I'm going to say it's about half and half. In the past, we've had a lot more from outside in the community than we've had from Johnson Street. So it varies from year to year, but I'd say at least 50% are outside of Johnson Street.
Do you know why our church started this ministry way back?
I probably do somewhere in the recesses of my mind.
think-
I think that they just wanted a good and Christian environment
Yeah.
for moms that needed a couple of hours. And I think that there were, I think the people that started it also wanted something to do with their time.
Right.
And they were teachers. And so they kept it going.
And I think that the purpose of Sunshine School, maybe not the purpose, but I think the why has probably changed a little bit over the past couple of decades, right? I mean,
I would agree with that.
it's more, to me, I don't know how true this is, other than it's true to me, is that this is really, I would say, an unexpected opportunity to really make a connection with our community. Wouldn't you say?
I would totally agree with that. I think that it has become more of that in the past, probably, I don't know, 15 years.
Yeah.
When Judy came in as director, she had run preschools and things like that. So she kind of had her hands in on that, where I don't know that it necessarily was that before. Right. It could have been. I could be completely reading that wrong. But I know that we have done a good job of trying to do outreach in the community. Or at least I think we are. I try.
Well, and I'll speak from my experience. I was in Houston for about 15 years or so, and they started a Tuesday through Thursday school there too. And of course, we had more space than we do here, so we were able to have more, kids. It was a little bit crazy the first year or two, but what we discovered there was how many of the people that were bringing their kids to our school had never really ever stepped into or even been involved in church their whole life. They've been around church, but they've never really been around church people or really that environment. So it was such a unexpected opportunity to be able to feed into and just to show them, love.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I know the same is here, even though our context is a little bit smaller. Do you see that there's a lot of need with the families that come in? And I mean, as far as their experience with Scripture, the gospel, Jesus, all that environment, do you see that?
Yeah, I see several. There are parents that come in that have no background.
Yeah.
And, their kids are going home and reciting the verses that we learn monthly, and they see our programs that, are about, we try to do Christian songs in there along with our fun turkey songs. So they are getting that. Yeah. And, we've had them come in that are having an issue that, I'll say, can I pray for you? So I do think that is coming across in a way that I didn't expect. I mean, that's not what I ever thought about.
Right.
Because we were members here when Allison started, so I didn't realize that was a part of it.
Yeah, and is there any kind of partnership with our children's minister, Elizabeth O'Brien? Because I know, we had several Sunshine School kids come to VBS this past summer, didn't we? Yes,
we had a whole all of our 4-year-olds came except for one, and we had several of our 3-year-olds come. Well, they're 4 now. They were in the 3-year-old class, but we do lots of things. When we do trunk or treat, we try to get the Sunshine Schools and kids involved in that. Anytime that we're having like Christmas Eve services, we try to invite, and we have seen some of those parents come and bring their kids.
Yeah.
Their kids feel at home here. And I want the parents to feel at home here as well, whether they're members or they're just people in our community. And I think that when we open the doors, I think they do feel that.
And it's not just VBS either. I mean, you guys do other kind of fun events throughout the year. I mean, just in the Sunshine School, I know that y'all have Rodeo Day, which is so fun.
We do have.
It's one of the cutest things I've ever seen in my life. These little kids in their Western wear, and
I love it when they, usually for Halloween, they'll come trick or treating through the office, and so all the staff gets by their, their door and hands out candy and seeing all the kids. It's great.
Yeah, and what I love to see is how our staff really kind of jumps in, and I see it as if we're looking at these kids kind of as our own in some ways, and we really want to help them and feed into them and their families. But it's definitely part of Johnson Street. It's not just something that happens here. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. I mean, we have such a loving staff and congregation that I see it all the time, whether, there may be a funeral meal that's happening in the fellowship hall while we have Sunshine School going on, and people are still stopping and saying hi to the kids or watching what they're doing, and it's nice to see.
Now, your teachers, how many teachers do you have?
4.
Four teachers, and I see there's this sense of mission in those people too.
Oh, most definitely.
Because they're definitely not here for the lucrative side of teaching.
That is true. That is true. None of us are here for the lucrative side of teaching.
And I was going to say, just kind of from my experience with my wife, she taught here, and I mean, she loved it. I mean, you were like one of her favorite people, and like every day after school, there'd be the teachers would just be, y'all be hanging out in the little lobby over there, and for hours. And so from me, I just want to thank you for taking her in and being a friend and just a support for her. And that was like, she's not coming back this year, and that was like probably one of the hardest decisions that she's ever had to make was, kind of saying bye to her class here at Sunshine School.
Oh, by the way, did you know that she's not? Okay.
I didn't know about that. Y'all are going to make me cry. Kara is one of my all-time favorite people ever, but I'm really lucky. We have such amazing teachers here at Sunshine School that love the kids. They have their own kids. They know. They just bring a lot of experience, whether it's from the from college or the classroom or just life experience too. We've got really good teachers that love the kids and pour into them. Yeah. Not just learning, but love. Right. Mm-hmm. And
man, they're so patient. Man, it's crazy how patient some of these teachers are.
There's a reason I'm a director and not a teacher anymore.
Oh man, well, as we kind of wrap this up, what I wanted to find out, the last question we have is very simple, but maybe not in the answering, but in the asking. What do you need? What does Sunshine School need?
We can always use substitute teachers. That would be a great thing. Anything that we could get to support our teachers would be awesome. If it's you volunteering to come in for maybe 30 minutes and reading to the kids so the teachers can have a break. I know that we're here from like 8:30 to 2:30, and that doesn't seem like a long time, but, if you can get that 30 minutes in just to have a little time away from the kids and make some copies, you come back rejuvenated and ready to tackle whatever. It'd be nice to maybe do a little teacher treats for the teachers maybe once a month. I try to do that myself, but, it'd be nice to have some help. We have programs, maybe come to those. Meet the parents of these kids that don't go to our church and get to know them and let them know that we're invested in them, not just me and the staff, but our church in general is invested in them.
Yeah, and I think that's something that we can do better as a staff, and is communicate those things to the congregation, let them know, hey, there's Sunshine School's having a fall program, this Tuesday. Come watch these kids and support them and meet some parents and just encourage. So yeah, I think we can do better at that.
Yeah, and I think speaking as somebody who really loves this ministry, I think it would be so great if our people could not view this as simply a Mother's Day out, but as a mission opportunity. Mm-hmm. Just an opportunity to just make connections with some families who may never have really had a connection with any long-standing church member before.
Right, and then we've got some families that they grew up in this church and they don't go here anymore.
Yeah,
So
for one reason or another.
Yeah, whether it just, who knows why they're not here. But, for them to see that they are still loved, even though they're not here,
right,
and that they're remembered, I think that would help a lot too.
And I think a lot of times we look at mission work, or we look at this idea of sharing the gospel as something, we have to do it with people we don't know, or we have to do it in our communities and with people in the street and with people, and what we need to realize is that we actually have people coming here throughout the week that we could feed into, and it's very natural in a non-intrusive way of just being Jesus to people, and there's a natural connection opportunity already happening.
And we pray before work, and I pray that we are Jesus's hands and feet. I say that every time I pray, because that's so important.
Yeah.
Well, if somebody wants to be a sub for you or help out in some way, how can they do that? How can they get in touch with you or volunteer?
Through my email is probably the easiest way. And
which is?
Melanie at jscc.org.
Got it.
That's it. Melanie, Melanie, at jscc.org.
Thanks for spelling it, because your East Texas accent it just kept me from knowing how to say that name.
I didn't have to say or bull.
You've done really well. I didn't even know you were from East Texas.
What can I say?
Great job. Great job. But yeah, there's a lot of opportunity throughout this next year if you'd like just to help in any small way. Even as a staff, I'd love to be more involved, because when you said come and read to the kids, I'm like, why haven't I done that? So anyway, I'm interested in doing that this next year. So hold me accountable to that.
I will do that.
And I know y'all have chapel, and when we lived in North Idaho, I did chapel with our Christian school there every week. So I'm always available if you want me to come sing some silly songs. I'm down for it.
Well, you're going to have to now that Kara's not here, because she was my silly song person.
Well, there's a lot of opportunity, even more. And I hope that this has been helpful for you, just to kind of see a little bit behind the scenes as to why we do some of the things that we do. Sunshine School is definitely a key part of our congregation, and it is one of, I believe, one of our most important mission efforts here in our community. And it's not a glamorous job, but it is so important. And I'm just going to encourage you to find out more about it, see how you can help. Melanie@jscc.org.
That's it. Right. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much for all that you do. We see you and the teachers being the hands and feet of Jesus, so we appreciate it.
That's our goal.
That's exactly right. Well, if you have any other questions or comments, or if you want to hear something else about why we do what we do, please give me an email, scott@jscc.org. Simple. Just say, hey, I want to know more about this. And you may hear about it in an upcoming podcast. But for now, that's all, I guess, right?
I think that's all we got for today.
All right. So I am Scott.
And my name is Jeff.
And this is New Steeple.
Same people.
We'll see you next time.
God bless.